Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeri Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Chaitanyam Sarvagam Sarvam Sarvabhuta Guhashayam Yat Sarva Vishayatitam Tasmai Sarva Vide Namaha. Shastre chet suraprayatnena vidya vyutpadyate. If the vidya, the Brahma vidya, the knowledge of Brahman, or the knowledge of identity of the self in Brahman, is very well expounded in the scriptures, because it is only means of becoming free, becoming happy, attaining the true goal of life, gaining success in life. Therefore, the Shastra emphasizes that's the primary, in fact, the theme of the Upanishads. Vitarhi sarvopi shastre na pravartate. And still, how come people do not have an interest in Shastra? Even after listening, not motivated to do what the Shastra tells them to do. Pravartamano va Shravanayapi Bahuviryan Labhya. For most people, Atma is not available even for listening. Not that Atma is not available. People are not available to listen to Atma. Shruvantovi Baho Yanna Vidyahu. And of many who are listening to that, most do not come to know. Idapekshayam Tichashuddhi Abhavatiti. This is because of the abhava, absence of Chitta Shuddhi, the purity of the mind. Therefore, Chitte Hyadashvadyasma Shuddhe Vidya Prakashade. So Vidya Prakashade. Vidya certainly shines, manifests, meaning that this vritti, if you want to call it, or knowledge of the identity that I am Brahman. What is meant by identity with Brahman is that I is already always shining. Right now that I is shining as Jivatma. Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudhotmana prakashade. The Atma is self-shining, so it always shines. But does not shine as Brahman, it shines it reveals itself as though as Jivatma. Drishyate tvagriya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibhi. Atma always shines as Brahman. But it is recognized, unfortunately, as Jivatma. It is a recognition of Atma. Drishyate tu agriya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibhi. Sukshmadarshibhi. By those who have developed this ability to see subtle things. Atma is subtler than subtlest, shines always. Other gross things also shine. The body also shines, sense organs also shine, ahankara shines. And where sukshma drishtitvam is not there, ahankara is taken to be Atma. That's how far my mind can go. My mind cannot go beyond ahankara. That's all it can feel. Sukshma darshivi. Therefore, one has to develop the capacity of seeing subtle. It is there, it's a matter of seeing it. Agriya buddhya, sukshmaya buddhya. Buddhi should become sukshma, subtle, pure, clean, and ekagra. So dushyate. Certainly Atma can be seen, known, recognized for its true nature. Thus nothing is done to Atma for making it Brahman. Nothing is to be done to Atma to make it shine. Something is to be done to the mind which always sees Atma. It is not that mind is to make, mind always experiences, sees Atma. But like a mirror, the quality of reflection will be determined by the quality of cleanliness of the mirror. So the way Atma shines, not that Atma doesn't shine. The way Atma shines or the way Atma is recognized by me depends upon the quality of the mind, which is like mirror. Therefore, tasya shodhanam, tasya chittasya shodhanam. Therefore, that mind must be clean, purified. Yamaihi, niyamaihi, yajnaihi, tapobhi. So Shastra gives plenty of means. What the means of Chitta Shuddhi is described in many, many ways by the Shastra. Yama, ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, parigraha. Niyama, shaucha, santosha, tapaha, swadhyaya, ishvara parinadhanam. Tapobhi, shariram tapaha, Vangmayam tapaha, manasam tapaha. Thus all of these means are prescribed for shodhanam, for the purification of the mind. Shayari tapah kuryat tad vishuddhyartham. Tad vishuddhyartham, therefore, chitta vishuddhyartham, for vishuddhi, purification of chitta, uttamam shayari tapah kuryat. Not only should we perform tapas or penance, uttamam, sattvigam, shraddhaya parayataptam, tapastat trividam naraihi, shariram tapaha, vangmayam tapaha, manasam tapaha, when performed paraya shraddhaya, by supreme shraddha, by implicit trust, that this is the means of attainment of Ishvara. That I am performing this tapas at the level of body, speech, mind for the sake of Ishvara, and that this is surely the means of knowing Ishvara. Afalakangsha, I do not want anything. I do not want any personal reward. either gratification of senses or gratification of ego. I don't want this. Yuktehi, that phalakanksha is not there. No akanksha of any worldly rewards. No, that requires a lot of shraddha. That if I let go this worldly reward, that I will get some other worldly thing, that shraddha must be there. Satvikam parishakshate. That tapas or penance is called satvikam. Uttamam. Now continuing the verse 24. Evam आरात् उपकारकं तपः उक्त्वा श्रवणादौ सन्निपत्य उपकारकं तपो विशेषं स्मृतिवचन पाठेन आह. एवं आरात् उपकारकं, see the footnote, आरात् परंपराया. The tapas described is not direct means of knowledge. Paramparaya. Through antahakana shuddhi, this tapas becomes a means of knowledge. It is indirect means of knowledge. Shravanado, but shravanam, atma drashtavya, shrotavya, mantavya, nidhyasatavya. So they are sannipatya sakshat jnana sadhana. So karma yoga is indirect means of knowledge, and Sankhya or Jnana Yoga is the direct means of knowledge. So Shranadav Sannipatti Upakarakam Tapo Vishesham. Now, Tapo Vishesham, a very special kind of tapas characterized by Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, that also is tapas. Smriti Vachana Pathena. Although the Vachanam of Manusmriti that is stated here, or also Mahabharata Moksha Dharma, this statement is generally referred to or attributed to Manusmriti, but also appears in Mahabharata Moksha Dharma Parva, Vana Parva, etc. So that word or that statement or verse is quoted here. In the verse 24, the teacher says, मनसश्चेन्द्रियाणां च हैकाग्र्यं परमं तपः तज्जायः सर्वधर्मेभ्यः सधर्मः पर उच्यते. मनसः इंद्रियाणां च ऐकाग्र्यम्. ऐकाग्र्यम single pointedness दृश्यते तु अग्रया बुद्धिया सूक्ष्मया. So Sukshmata was described earlier, Ekagrata is being described. Paramam Tapaha, cultivating Ekagryam, focus, single pointedness of the mind is considered to be the supreme tapas or austerity, penance. Tajjaya sadharmebhya, and praising that tapas of ekagrata, sadharmebhya jaya, it is superior to all the dharmas. Sadharma, so many dharmas were described there. In moksha dharma, all sorts of dharmas were described also by Bhishma Pitama to Yudhishthira. Of all the dharma, Varnashrama dharma, this dharma, that dharma, Samanya, Vishesha, Varaj dharma, etc., so many dharmas are described. Of them, Sadharma Parah Uchyate. This Chitta Ekagram is said to be Parah Dharma, the supreme dharma, most exalted dharma. So what is Ekagram? The Tika says Ekagram. Shrutyukte vastuni mananadvara sthirikaram. That is, the interpretation is given in its own way. How does Aikagram means? So then we say it is Sannipatya, it is direct means. So Ekagrata cannot become direct means of moksha or knowledge. It is Samadhanam. Shama, Dama, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. Chitta Ekagram, Samadhanam. So that Chitta Ekagram is listed along with this others. Shantaha, Danta, Uparata, Titikshu, Samahita, Bhutva. But here the Tikakara looks upon that as the Sakshat Karanam, therefore it has to be Shravanadi. Therefore Aikagram is interpreted as Shrutiyukte Vastuni Mananadvara Sthirikaranam. So you've done the Shravanam, Mananadvara Sthirikaranam, Nididhyasanam. So Sthirikaranam. The mind has to be focused upon this knowledge, Aham Brahmasmi. Etasya avashyakartavitvaya stuti kriyate. That this is something to be done definitely. Tajjaya saradharmebhya, because it is superior to all the dharma. Sadharma para uchyate. The second line praises this chitta ekagram, for emphasizing that of all the tapas or penance, this is the most important. Something has to be done. That has to be done. So stuti is arthavada. Arthavada support the vidhi, meaning that the first line is looked upon as vidhi. Manasaschendriyanam cha haikagram paramam tapah. A simple statement actually, there is no verb there of vidhi. But since the second line praises that tapaha, therefore avashya kartavyata tvaya, that praising of this tapaha of the nature of chitta ekagram is called arthavada, which is meant to support the vidhi. Therefore, the second line is of the nature of praising that. Therefore, the first line should be looked upon as vidhi, avashya kartavyattvaya. Therefore, that tapas or penance of the nature of chitta ekagram has to be done, and certainly done. Evam uktaihi sadhanaihi samshuddha chitta shravanadiparaha. So this Tikakara explains this last verse as Shravanadi Paratvam, Chitta Ekagram. So otherwise there is no difference between the and then next the exposition of knowledge starts. Now the author is expounding the nature of knowledge and the means of knowledge. That could not be unless what preceded this verse was a direct means of knowledge. That is why Sannipatya, it is the Sakshat Jnana Karanam. Evam Uktehi Sadhanehi Samshuddha Chittaha. By the sadhanam, the means that are stated, who has attained their chitta shuddhi, purification of mind. Shravanadi parasan. What do we do with that chitta shuddhi? Shravanadi parasan shrotavya, mantavya, nidhyasavya, becoming committed to, devoted to Shravana, etc. Avasthatra tat sakshinam vivicya vakyad brahma atmatvena janiyad. Then one should devote oneself to Shravanam, Mananam. And what should he do? Brahma atmatvena janiyad. In Shravanam, which is the Tatpara Nirnaya, or listening to the scriptures from the teacher, the knowledge takes place in Shravanam. So Brahma atmatvena vijaniyat. In Shravanam, by listening to a teacher, one should know Brahman is the Atma or Atma is Brahman. I only know Atma, but yes, in Atma, the Anatma also is mixed together right now. It is not that Atma does not shine, not that I do not know Atma, but along with Atma, Anatma also shines. Even though Atma shines as subject and Anatma shines as object, really speaking. Yushmat asmat pratyaya gocharayo. Atma is asmat pratyaya gochara as a subject. Anatma, consisting of the body, mind, sense organs, is Yushmat pratyaya as Anatma is different from Atma. Paraspa, excluding each other. The you is not included in I. The I, Atma, completely excludes an Atma. And still, they are lumped together. They are lumped together, meaning they are placed in the same adhikaranam. Even though they are shining in different adhikaranam, different lokas. Atma shines as subject, Anatma shines as object. So adhikaranam, the locus of shining of Atma is the subject, locus of shining of Anatma is object. They are shining in different places. And still somehow they are lumped together. Inexplicable way. That's called Maya, what you cannot explain. It's happening, but there is no logical reason, because logically it doesn't make sense. Two mutually exclusive things cannot be taken to be one. And they are still taken to be one. Mithya bhavitam arhat, therefore it cannot be real. So the way I take myself to be cannot be real as a limited I. Therefore teacher enables me to see that right now in what I take to be I, the two elements are involved, the I and non-I, the Purusha and Prakriti, the actor and the costume. So to these spectators, the actor and costume sign together. And then you take that entity as a beggar, superimposing the attributes of the costume upon the actor, and you take him to be a beggar. And so also superimposing the attributes of the costume, the body, mind, sense complex, Prakriti, upon Atma, and I judge the Atma. Just as I judge the actor based on his costume and brand him to a beggar, I judge the Atma. Self-judgment, self-conclusion, self-opinion, by equating the self with the costume. And that's how I take myself as Jiva-Atma. So this is how Vedanta explains the anatomy of my notion about myself. How does that notion arise? This is how, and this is the ignorance. Therefore, a knowledge of nature of separating the two. Not that they are not separate, seeing them as separate. Not separating them, mixed up and you to separate them. That's how they may describe, but not so. Seeing the fact that they are separate. They are not on the same locus. Avasthatra tat sakshanam vivichya. That avasthatra is the anatma, the object shining as yushmat pratyaya. Tat sakshi, the witness avasthatra is atma, shining as asmat pratyaya. Vivichya, separating them this way. The one is sakshya, avasthatra, other is sakshi, the self. Vakya, then after separating, who am I? Tattvamasi. So that is when I know that I am not the avastha, I am avasthatraya sakshi. I am the shariratraya sakshi. Sthula, sukshma, kana sharirat, vyatirikta. I am vyatirikta, distinct from the sthula, sukshma, kana sharira. Now who am I? Tattvamasi. Then he is told, hey, you are Tattvamasi, you are Brahman. So that is when the Upadesha shines. Brahma Atmatvena Janiyat. By that Vakya, you see that you are Brahman. Ityaha, this is said in the verse 25, Dushtamiti. Because right away, right away the nature of the Viveka is described. Finishing that right away. So Tikakar has to fill up this necessary lines, necessary thought. Drushtam jagaritam vidyat srutam swapnam tadevatu sushuptam tadabhavam cha samatmanam param padam. Every chapter begins from the beginning. Although every chapter is almost an independent text, independent prakranam. So this prakranam also begins in its own way. Drushtam jagritam vidyat. What is jagritam? What is waking state? Drushtam, what is seen? The seeing is called waking state. Seeing, perceiving through sense organs is called the waking state. Indriyahi arthopalabdhi jagaritam. That's how the Panchikaranam describes. Arthopalabdhi, perception of the sense object, indriyahi, through sense organs. The dream also, there is perception of the sense organs, but not through this indriya. The state in which there is perception of the sense objects through sense organs, that state is called waking. That is called dushtam, seen. Shrutam swapnam tadevatu. So whatever we see or perceive or experience, that leaves this samskara, this smriti or the impressions in our mind, and they become the basis of the dream world. So srutam, tadeva srutam. Whatever is experienced in the waking state, that alone becomes the basis of dream when this is remembered. You may remember it in an irregular way. You may not remember it in the same orderly way. There can be disorderly remembrance, and therefore that can be mixed up in the dream. So dream may not follow the same pattern as waking. But what is experienced in dreams certainly comes from waking. Yesterday's waking, some wakings, God knows what waking things are all involved in the creation of dream. But certainly the dream is based on waking and waking experiences which have left these impressions which are remembered. Sushuptam tadabhavam cha. Absence of both drishtam and smritam. Drishtam, seen, waking. Smritam, remember, dream. Absence of both of them is called sushuptam. It's called. So that is also suptam. Dream also is sleeping, but this is sleeping very well. So dreamless sleep is called sushupti, or deep sleep you can call it. So Tikakara says, Dushtam darshanam bhakhyendriyahi bhakhyarthopalambanam. Dushtam darshanam, perceiving, bhakhyarthopalambanam, perceiving the worldly objects, bhakhyendri, by the external sense organs, perceiving external objects. Jagritam. Tadevatu swapnam smrutam tadevatu drishta shabda vachameva. So what does say drishtam meaning? The waking. Smrutam samskar vashat nidradashayam bhatam. Because samskaras left in the mind, same samskaras shine as the dream world. Karaneshu upasamhriteshu jagrita samskaradya pratyaya swapna iti uchyate. How swapna is described? Karaneshu uparateshu. When all the karanas are folded up, meaning that organs of perception, organs of action, both of them merge. Jagrita samskaradya pratyaya. The pratyaya, the perception that arises based on the samskara, the impression of waking state, is called swapna, dream. Tadabhavam then says, Tadabhavam tayoho dushtasmutayoho abhava yasmin tat sushuptam vidyat. Tadabhavam is a samasa. Tayoho abhava yasmin tat tadabhavam, understand. It is not absence of waking and dream. Tadabhava is a description of deep sleep which is characterized by the absence of waking and dream. It is a bahuvrihi samas. Tayo drushtayoho. So tat abhavam tayoho abhavaha yasmin saha tat tadabhava. So that in which there is abhava, absence of, that both of these, waking and dream. Sushuptam vidyat jnanavasamhare buddhe karanatmana avasthanam sushuptihi. Jnanavasamhare sarvaprakara jnanavasamhare. When there is the folding up, a withdrawal of all the jnanam, not only jnanam by the gross sense organs in the waking state, but jnanam by the subtle sense organs, projected sense organs in the dream, sarvaprakara. So in the waking there is jnanam of the gross objects, the dream there is jnanam of the projected objects, sarvaprakara jnanopasamhare. When all this jnana is withdrawn, buddhe, still buddhi remains karanatmana avasthanam. Buddhi was in the state of gross state in waking, subtle state in dream, the causal state in the deep sleep. Sushupti ucha. So there is avasthana buddhi, understand. Deep sleep state is a state of buddhi, so was dream and waking, not states of atma, states of buddhi. Swamahatmanam parampadam. Then fourth is atma. Evam drisyatrayam prasakritya. That's how threefold drishya is there. One is drishyam by the gross sense organs, drishyam by the subtle sense organs. Third, drishyam illumined by the consciousness. Tat sakshinam. So these three are described so that they recognize anatma. So that one that is the illuminator of them can be separated and seen separately as a sakshi or witness. Swam Swarubhutam Atmanam Parampadam Vidyat. Recognize that the one that is the witness or illuminator of these three is you. Parampadam. What's your nature? Parampadam Satya Jnana Adilakshanam Brahma. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So Brahman that is characterized by Satyam Jnanam Anantam. That Brahmasmi, that Brahma I am, iti vidyat. May you see this fact. That having separated the waking dream deeply from you, all that remains, the witness of this, the self-consciousness, even witness also doesn't remain. witnessed are not there, Sakshi also is not there, all there is just consciousness. And that is Brahman of nature of Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. May you see this fact. No, avasthatraya hi to ajnane sati katham tadviviktaya pratyekatmana brahmatvam upadyate. You describe the three states, all right, and described Atma as the illuminate of three states. But three states doesn't describe it all. Avasthatraya hetu ajnane sati. But ignorance, the cause of these three states, still remains. Even when you see yourself as separate from the three states, the ignorance which is cause of three states still remains to be dealt with. Katham tad viviktata pratyekatma brahmatvam. Therefore, now still ignorance is there. Therefore, how can you be Brahma which is conditioned by ignorance? Atma was conditioned by the three states. That's not all. The cause of three states, ajnanam, still remains, and therefore you who are characterized by or qualified by ignorance, how can you be Brahman? So next verse is Sushuptakhyam tamo jnanam Bijam swapna prabodhayoh Svatma bodha pradagdham syat Bijam dagdham yatha bhavam. Sushupta, now Sushupti is finally dismissed. Sushuptakyam tama ajnanam bijam. The Sushupti itself is tamaha, is darkness, is ignorance. Bijam swapna prabodhayo, which is the bee or seed of the dream and the waking. So even Sushupti also is the result of tamaha or ajnanam. So recognize that Sushupti is ignorance, tamaha. Svatma bodha pradagdam syat. So therefore, Viveka is further required that I am the illuminate of ajnanam also. Svatma prabodha dagdam syat, that ignorance also becomes dispelled, says burnt or dispelled by the lamp of knowledge, self-knowledge. The example is given. Bijam dagdam yatha abhavam. Just as a seed when it is burned or roasted doesn't remain, so also ignorance when burned by the fire of knowledge no more remains. Sushuptakhyam tamah ajnanam. The Tika says, Tama iti visheshena ajnanasya bhavarupatvam uchyate. Ajnanam is further described as tamaha. Ignorance is further called darkness. Otherwise, ajnanam can be interpreted as jnana abhava, absence of knowledge. But darkness itself is an existing entity. Because darkness can create various reactions in me, fear, etc. Or in darkness I may tumble over and therefore I can get hurt, that all of this darkness can do. So darkness is looked upon as some positive entity which creates positive outcome, positive result. Like fear, like tumbling, like injury. Therefore, ajnanam is not simply absence of jnanam. It is tamaha bhava rupam yat kinchit asti. Some kind of an existence. Sadasatbhyam anirvachaniyam. Ajnanam cannot be said to be existing, not said to be non-existent, different from sat and asat, something called mithya. just as rope snake. So, asat na pratiyeta. If the snake was not there, you would not have perceived it. The fact that you perceive the snake, rope snake, means that you cannot say the snake is not. Although you can't perceive it. When you show the torchlight, snake no more remain there. You can't say snake is. Had it been there, even with torchlight also, it will be shining. Therefore, the rope snake cannot be categorized as is or is not. Then what is it? That's the mithya. In the Sadbhasman, the snake that is not really there but shines as though it is there, then mithya. Therefore, the word tamaha is used. This ignorance is not just absence of knowledge, is not just abhava, non-existence. It is tamaha. Not that it is real. It is not non-existent also. It has some kind of existence. Yat kinchit bhavarupam, some kind of existence, because it creates the universe. It creates something that is tangible, supposedly. Therefore, something cannot be created from nothing. Therefore, this universe cannot be created from non-existent jnanam. Therefore, therefore it's called tamaha. Yat kinchit bhava, some kind of bhava is there. Tamiti visheshan ajnanasya bhavarupato uchyate. Therefore, when the teacher says ajnanam tamaha, meaning ajnana is not jnana bhava, it is some kind of positive effect. Whether it exists or not, it is a positive effect. In terms of creating all the Brahma, is avaranam, is that ajnana is not only avaranam but is vikshepa. So this ajnanam consists of avaranam and vikshepa. Avaranam, what you cannot see, vikshepa, see it wrongly. So therefore the vikshepa aspect is indicated here by the word tamaha. That vikshepa, the projection, could not be there unless something had existed, so bhavarupato uchyate. Sushuptakyam tamaha ajnanam bijam. Tata bijam upadana. That is when this ajnanam can become the material cause. If ajnana was non-existent, then it could not cause something. The fact that ajnanam causes the universe, therefore ajnanam has some kind of existence. The ajnanam can be upadana karanam. Tataha, that word tamaha imparts ajnanam some kind of positive existence. Tataha bijatvam upadanatam upapadyate. Therefore ajnanam can be bijam, or the cause. What's the cause? Upadanam. That avaran becomes the basis of vikshepa, of the nature of universe creation. Therefore, ajnanam can be upadanam, material cause of the universe. Therefore, for Vedantin, if you investigate as the scientist does, what's the cause of the universe, ideally you should come to ignorance. Not even this boson particle, etc. Because Vedanta explains that ajnanam is the material cause, not a particle. Particle also reduces, but that will never happen. In scientific prakriya methodology, jnanam is presupposed. You want to know. But that all is product of ignorance, that is something that you can never arrive at. Vedanta says that ajnanam, that vikshepa is the material cause of the universe. So only when ajnanam is bhavarupam, then only it can become the upadana karanam for jagat upapadyate, bijatvam upapadyate. Tataha ajnanasya bijatvam to bijam. Only then ajnanam can be the bijam, meaning the cause or the material cause, it had some kind of existence. Bijam swapna prabodhayoho. That's how Sushupti, which is Ajnanam, Tamaha, is the cause of universe of Swapna and Prabodha. First the subtle world called Swapna, then the gross world called the Jagrat. Prabodha means Jagrat, waking. Swapna Prabodhayo Bijam. There is Sushupti. Sushupti means ignorance, which has the potential of the projection, Vikshepa. That's how then projection of Swapna and then projection of dream or waking takes place. So this is the description of Ajnana. Understand, this is how Ajnana is. With the potential of projection, creation. Not only that, but you take creation to be real. Otherwise, as in dream also, the dream world is projected. When you are in a dream, you take the dream world to be real. There is real pleasure and pain in dream, not imaginary. For a dreamer, pleasure and pain, experience in dream are real. And so also, the world is as though real, waking. Swatma bodha pradagdam syat tat ajnanam. That ignorance of that nature, swatmana prabodha pradagdam syat, swatmana samyak bodhagnana prakarshena dagdam syat, pradagdam syat, prakarshena dagdam syat. That ignorance will be very well burned, very well dispelled without leaving a trace. See, things never get burned without leaving a trace. Here, however, so therefore burning is not a very good example. If the knowledge is light, then it completely dispels the darkness. When light comes, it dispels darkness without leaving any residue. Fire doesn't burn anything without leaving a residue. That combustible material turns to ashes. But anyway, since the knowledge is compared to fire here, so pradagdam syat, prakarshena dagdam syat, the ignorance becomes completely burned without leaving any residue. Samyak bodhagnana, by the fire of the true nature, knowledge, ignorance gets completely burned or dispelled. So, without leaving no trace. Yatha dagdam bijam abhavam shat. Just as a seed when it is burned. Now, seed is roasted, not burned. The example of seed is the roasting of the seed, not burning. Then anything, you can give any example. But anyway, so even when the seed is roasted, it cannot germinate anymore. Alright, then there is no question. If seed is burned, it cannot germinate, no question about it. Yatha dagdam bijam abhavam. Now, abhavam is what? Bhavashunyam. Na bhavam abhavam. Bhava means existing, na bhavam non-existent. Therefore, that bijam, dagdam, when the seed is burned, it becomes non-existent. In what way? Karyotpatakam na bhavati bhavashunyam. Bhava means becoming. Seed, you cannot say it becomes non-existent. It becomes incapable of germinating. So you could have said even the seed is roasted. Burn means roasted. Tatha tattva jnana agni dagdam ajnanam puna avastha prarohakam na bhavati. Similarly also ignorance that is burned by the fire of the self-knowledge no more can create any samsara. Yujyateva pratichaya brahmatvam. Deva pratyagatma must be Brahman, otherwise knowledge of pratyagatma cannot destroy samsara. If swatma prabodha, if knowledge of swatma, one's own self, completely destroys samsara, then Swatma must be also the cause of samsara, adhisthana of samsara. So Atma should be samsara adhishthanam also, otherwise the samsara cannot be burned by knowledge of Atma. And Jagat adhishthanam is called Brahma. Therefore Atma must be Brahman. Therefore knowing Atma is Brahman, as the Jagat Karanam, as Sarvatma, as Jagat adhishthanam, and therefore Jagat no more remains separate from Atma. Tasmat tatsarvam abhavat. By virtue of knowing myself to be Jagat adhishthanam, I become everything. So therefore, yujyate eva pratisha brahmatvam. From this description, yujyate is quite proper, that the Atma must be Brahman. Then alone by knowledge of the Atma, the samsara seed gets burned. Now, if only the what we call the Jiva Sushti get burned, then still samsara, so Ishvara Sushti also should get burned. Ishvara Sushti is created by Ishvara or Brahman. Therefore, Atma is known as Brahman. Therefore, the whole Sushti. Burned means the whole thing can be negated. In your knowledge of Atma as Brahman, no Jiva Sushti remains, no Ishvara Sushti also remains. Okay, we'll continue with the next verse tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamada Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.